I'm Cienna.
Oh no, I missed it. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Cienna.
And I'm Madison.
And you're listening. Hey, I'm Cienna.
And I'm Madison.
I'm yelling at them.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, I'm Cienna.
And I'm Madison.
And you're listening to the Just a Person podcast.
Hi everybody, welcome to Just a Person podcast, a show that explores life's highs, lows, and in-betweens. I'm Madison, and today Cienna and I are talking to our old roommates, Cassie and Shianne. We talk about how we all made our way to the same college, what it was like living together, and how to navigate living with complete strangers. Thanks so much for listening, and enjoy. Hi guys.
Hi. Hey.
What's up, everybody?
Okay.
So today with us on the show, we have our former roommates, Shianne and Cassie. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us. I'm excited.
First, we're gonna start out with the question out of the hat. I'm gonna pick it. We're all gonna answer it. We'll start with Cassie, and then we'll work our way around our little circle here. Okay. All right. Would one of you like to pick the question?
Cheyenne, you want to do the honors?
Yeah, sure.
Do I have to read it? Cheyenne, you're the first guest to pick their own question.
That is true.
Okay. No pressure.
Thank you.
Yeah, get a good one.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Oh, this is a loaded one. Okay. There's many, but I think the most important one as of lately is like people don't know what they don't know. And it sounds simple, but it's actually really complex. Is like people don't know what they don't know. Like if you've never been taught, you can't, I'm serious. Like if you've never been taught something, like you can't expect people to know. So like, don't be.
No, that's true. That's true.
Simple, but
I
complex.
actually love it.
My brother says that all the time, actually.
Yeah. If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay.
Cheyenne.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think recently I've been given a lot of advice about like my life and like what kind of direction to go in. And honestly, just not settling for something that doesn't make you happy and not just like staying in something because I guess like job related, like if it makes you a lot of money, but you're not happy, like it's just not worth your time. So really trying to find like what you love to do and be passionate about.
That's so good. It's so good.
You know?
I don't know. Okay, I'm trying to think. I feel like nobody's ever like sat me down, like given me advice like properly.
Girl,
People give you advice and pass.
I was like, I'm giving you plenty.
True.
I'm gonna kind of go with what Cheyenne said a little, just like I would say like following your dreams. The best piece of advice I've ever been given is when someone once told me, they looked me in the eyes and they said, follow your dreams. And that one really just stuck with me. Yeah, I just think about it and I carry it with me.
How often do you think about that?
Every day. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Good ones.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's not really, I guess this is also career based, but my brother tells me all the time to make content that you think is missing and to like fill the gap of what you wish was out there. So that's something that I take into whatever I do career wise.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Also, I want to say just don't stress.
Life's too short to stress.
You know, like why stress and you could just not.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a little disclaimer right now. So there's 4 of us. First time we've ever had 2 guests on at the same time, and 3 of us are in the same location. And yeah, I don't know. Just bear with us. We'll see what happens. So this is an experiment.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. It'll be good.
Okay, so we're gonna get started here with our background. You already know, Cienna and I. Hopefully you've listened to our episodes. If you haven't, check them out. We're not going to re-go over that. Okay, so Cassie, do you want to do that first?
I'm Cassie. I'm from Michigan. I grew up in a very small cow town, actually where Madison grew up. So we've been friends for quite some time. Currently in Ohio, though, working on an internship. Super exciting. I study animal science at Michigan State. But I've been to a few different colleges, and I'm sure you guys are going to hear about that later. But I'm excited to be here.
Great.
Great.
Great news, Cassie. I'm thrilled.
Thanks, dude.
All right, Cheyenne.
I'm Cheyenne.
Okay.
Also from Michigan. Yeah, I have an older brother that I grew up with. Single mom household. Shout out to my mommy. Went to Central Michigan all 4 years, double majored in marketing and logistics management. Now I'm not really sure what to do, but
We're graduating.
hopefully I'll figure it out.
Wait a minute. Disclaimer, I'm not graduated yet, but soon.
Do we want to just quick give like an overview of how we all ended up at Central? Cheyenne, you can start if you want.
Okay, so I really honestly wasn't sure where I wanted to go to college until probably like April of like senior year. For me, it was in between Michigan State and Central, and I got a scholarship to Central, and I had a friend that asked me to go and room with her, so I did, and that's how I ended up at Central. Perfect. And how I met Cienna.
And Madison.
And Cassie. Well, yeah, but
I met Cienna first.
Yeah. Of me and Cienna's love story. Like,
I met Cienna first.
That's where I met her.
And that's Cienna's podcast. Thanks for watching.
I love it.
My first freshman year started rooming with Cienna, and that's how it all came about.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
So
Okay. I'll go. Okay. Gosh. I had no idea at all where I wanted to go to school. I did the same. I just applied to like all like the basic bigger ones in Michigan. And then I just really like there was no rhyme or reason. I picked Central, truly. My older sister went there and she liked it and it seemed like a good school. I just like I couldn't ever really decide where I wanted to go because I don't think I knew what I wanted to study. So I couldn't really base it off of like what I was studying. And so I didn't really know how else to pick. And so I just knew some people who were going. It wasn't too far away, but it was still like a good distance away from my home. So yeah, I just said, sure, I'll give it a whirl. And that's where I met Cheyenne.
So I got to Central because I only applied to 3 schools and I ended up not wanting to go to the other 2. And I also changed my mind on my major, and Central had a good program for what I wanted. So I just went there. That was pretty much, it was honestly kind of by default, but yeah, that's where I ended up.
Okay, so I got to Central and it was kind of like a whirlwind, not to sound super sad here for a minute, but I got out of high school and I was in a really bad spot mentally. So I was supposed to go to Central right away, and then I chose to go to community to stay home for a minute, and then I decided to go to Central. Super glad that I did. Within my first 3 weeks of being there, it was kind of chaotic. A lot of things happened, but I happened to find Madison, who we were friends with. I was friends with her like growing up, and then ran into Cheyenne and Cienna, and somehow we all signed a lease together. So super grateful I was there. I ended up transferring out of Central, but I learned a lot there, and it was a really good like starting line for my life, I would say. But yeah, that's how I got there.
So how we all became roommates was kind of weird. Like myself, Cheyenne and Cienna. Does one of you want to? Yeah, actually, let me tell it from my perspective first, because I was the one with the room.
Right.
So what happened was,
okay, go on.
well, that's how it happened. My freshman year, I didn't want to live with my roommates again. They didn't want to live with me. That was fine. It was a mutual split. And I decided I had to live in the dorms another year just because I had to. And I decided to try and get a room in the dorms that had 4 separate bedrooms. At Central, there's 4 roommates in one room, 2 in a bedroom, 2 in another. At one point, I was just in there by myself. So I started looking for other roommates online, and then Cheyenne was one of them. And then we had another roommate. We have no idea. We don't know what happened. She was like apparently the RA, but she really wasn't. And then she just dropped out of the room. And then Cienna came in like 2 days before we moved in.
I guess I can do a bit of a background. So after my freshman year at Central, I thought I wanted to change majors. I forgot I even did that. I thought I wanted to go to like, did I want to go to nursing school? I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I literally don't know where I was, but I never know. But like,
okay.
I'm pretty sure I signed up for classes at a different college. And then a few weeks before I was supposed to start, I was like, actually, no, like, I don't want to do that. Like, I was like, I want to go back to Central. And then I just messaged Cheyenne, and then there just happened to be that room opening because the RA, non-RA gal dropped out.
Yeah.
And then I just got bumped right in. And I was like, okay, cool. That was a pretty big shift because I had no idea I was going to be at Central until like literally a few days before the semester started. So that was fun.
Yeah, I want to clear something up really quick. This is not the RA that we had on earlier. This is someone who wasn't even ever the RA. Because we did have Sarah on here.
I love
So
Sarah.
It's not her, it's somebody else. Cheyenne, do you need to add anything?
Yeah, I guess basically I knew that Sienna didn't want to go to, or wasn't going to go to Central anymore, but I also had to live in the dorm. So I kind of just picked the one that we were living in because I thought it would be like the nicest. I remember whenever the mystery girl like dropped out, talking to Sienna and being like, you should just come like live with us. And I remember we called like the housing and was like, can we please get her in here? And so yeah, we were lucky enough to be able to have Sienna. So yeah, I felt like pretty scared just because I was gonna go in completely blind. Whereas like freshman year, I knew one person from home, but yeah, it turned out to be good.
Yeah, Cassie, tell us how you.
Yeah, how'd you get in on
So
this?
then after our sophomore year, us four lived together. Our junior year, Cassie's sophomore year in an apartment.
So my first year or like semester at Central, because I was only there for that spring, I lived with you guys my sophomore year, but I met you guys. I knew Madison forever, but I met Cheyenne and Cienna the previous year, if this even makes sense here, but we didn't live together, and we decided to live together my sophomore year. Yeah, in the apartment J8, shout out, love that place. We had some great times there, but I'm so glad we all met each other and like found each other in that way, because I think your roommates almost can like make or break your college experience a little bit. And I've been on both spectrums, good and bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we all kind of have.
Yeah, I think you just have those experiences and that's okay to have those experiences. Like sometimes you just don't like vibe with people, and that's okay. Like people are different. But when you do find your people, it's great. So,
I mean, there's a lot of things, including this, that wouldn't have happened if I didn't meet you guys. Like, that's just true.
I think a lot of those things happen for a reason, though. Like, if I didn't meet you guys, I literally don't know where I would be right now. Like, for real.
Yeah.
Cassie, do you want to get into your roommate experience?
Yeah. Is that something you want to talk about or no?
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. The particular one we're talking about here, when I met you guys, is that the one? Okay, so we'll just get into it. I transferred to Central. Within 3 weeks of being there, I was living with two girls. One of them I'm still really good friends with. The other one, we hit it off the bat. It was great. But after 3 weeks, there was a disagreement that happened within our dorm room. I hate confrontation. I left campus for the day. And I called Madison and I told her what was up, just because she was the only person I knew and I needed advice. And I went back to my dorm room that night and a fight had actually broken out, a physical fight. It wasn't that bad. But needless to say, it felt a little uncomfortable, scary a little bit, like, because I'm not a fighter. I literally ran away. That's when I really got close with you guys, I think, because you guys like took me in because I was just really struggling. But everything ended up working out. But yeah, just not a great experience. I mean, it was a moment where I was like, oh shoot, man, like this is one of those life lessons, here we go. But everything works out. It did, but it was scary at the time. It was traumatizing a little bit.
Since we all kind of like our freshman year had kind of like, I guess, weirder experiences, I don't know, or like our first time living with roommates, what is what you expected having a roommate to be like versus what it actually was like?
I guess for me, I kind of expected like, you'd be best friends and like kind of hang out. I mean, you don't have to do everything together, but just being civil. I think our freshman year it didn't quite go that way, but I think since then it kind of like met up to my expectations. At least I think we were all really close and we did a lot of stuff together and we became really good friends. I think sometimes people don't really expect that, but I kind of thought that we would all still continue to be close and be friends and hang out together and stuff. So
yeah, same. I always just kind of assumed I would be friends with my roommates just because you're living together. Like, why wouldn't you? And like when I went to Central, I didn't know anyone, so obviously I was hoping that my roommates would like me and I would like them. Good. I don't know. I would have a friend. But should I get into our one roommate? Okay. All I have to say is that me and my roommate that I shared a room with, we didn't not get along, but like we didn't end up becoming like close friends. She kind of did her own thing and I kind of did my own thing, and that was fine. I don't think she liked us very much.
No.
Still not sure why, but it was fine. Like we were civil with each other, but I just thought it was weird because, like I said, remember she would like wear my makeup.
Yeah,
I remember
our clothes. And
yeah, and it was just weird because we weren't friends.
Yeah,
like
she specifically said that we weren't friends.
Yeah, like she didn't like
she
me.
blocked us.
Okay.
I think it was a couple of weeks after she blocked us on everything. Like we couldn't even contact her.
Yeah,
even though she lived with us.
That makes me sad.
I just remember the one time she asked our other roommate, she was like, oh, can you fix like my eyeliner?
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh yeah, like what kind do you have? She's like, I don't know, it's Sienna's. And I was just sitting there and I was like, oh, like I didn't say anything. So like I don't even care if you use my makeup. I just thought it was weird because
she ripped your bra too.
Yeah, she wore my bras, same thing without asking, and broke it. It was just weird. Like if my friend does that, I don't care. But
yeah,
like she didn't like
someone
me.
You didn't know.
Yeah, someone I wasn't friends with. She would just like use my stuff as her own. I never said anything, so maybe that's on me, but
Sienna like that, like for example with my situation that I had my freshman year, after I had moved out of my dorm room, obviously after said physical altercation, and I came back to go grab my stuff and I found like a bunch of my stuff that I had like forgotten about and it was like ripped to shreds. So I think it's just like I don't know, I feel like there's definitely a line that was crossed for you.
Yeah, I remember we like all went in there and we were like
ready to fight,
protecting us. Like, oh man,
yeah, I remember that. Peace and love to whoever, respectfully, but please don't rip people's things when you live with them. I really thought that it was going to be like some High School Musical type of Disney looking movie. Like you go into college.
Hold hands.
Right. You're going to hold hands and you're going to be best friends forever. And unfortunately, that's just not always the case. And that was like a really sad thing for me because like I just love people and I hate when people don't like me. Or I'm a people pleaser. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Like I just love to be with people.
Calling herself out.
I am calling myself out. And my dad was like, hey, Cassie, when you get to college, not everyone's gonna like you. And that's just how it is. Like
you're like, no, Dad. They will.
Yeah, I was like, no, Dad, the world literally loves me. And that is not how it is. It's just like, you go in and everyone comes with their own baggage and their own way that they've lived with their parents, and not everyone grows up the same way. And you realize that when you start living with other people, they have certain tendencies that maybe you don't agree with or you do agree with and you love. You're like, oh my gosh, she washes my dishes for me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. But like other things, you just go into it thinking it's going to be like all sunshine and rainbows, and it's not, but a lot of it is. So I'm not trying to sound like negative here, but the reality of it is like you just get to see people for like where they've come from and who they are. And that's okay. Like we all have our positives and negatives, but sometimes you meet some really amazing people and they change the like trajectory of your life, honestly, and your college experience as well. So I've met some really great roommates. I've only had one small bad experience and the rest have been amazing. So
yeah, I think I don't know. I think I went into college opposite of you, Cheyenne. I think I didn't think I was going to be friends with my roommates. I don't know why. That's how I went into it. I don't know. I think I like to be alone a lot. So I think to me, I was like, I don't really care if they don't talk to me. But then when I got there and they didn't, I was like, oh, I'm really lonely. And I don't really, my brother went there, but like I didn't have any friends. And first year was pretty tough. But then meeting you guys, it was like a real roommate experience. I don't know. You guys tell me if you feel this way. But when you're a roommate with someone, it's like much different than being someone's friend. Even if you are their friend, it's like
there's a different dynamic that goes on, which it's not a bad one, but there's definitely a difference, I think.
I personally loved having the apartment. I loved like having my own room. I loved sharing roommates. Like in the future, if I get an apartment again, I would want to have roommates. Like I like having roommates. It's fun. I don't know. Like I really enjoyed it. Like, and it kind of is like, yeah, it is a bit different living with your friend, but obviously by the time we were living together, we were friends. And it's like, so like we did, like to me, I did consider it like living with my friends. Like you were my roommates too, but
Me too.
I'm not like, oh, like this is like Cassie, my roommate.
Oh, I didn't mean it in a mean
like,
way.
You know what I mean?
I didn't mean
oh,
it in a bad way.
I think of you guys as like
I just meant it's like a different
Yeah.
relationship.
No,
yeah.
It is.
Like
So,
I feel like even now we don't live together, but yeah, I feel closer to you guys than like
exactly.
my other
Yeah.
friends.
Because you see
Yeah.
them every single day. So I feel like
Yeah.
you see
see all the things.
all
see
the things
all
that
of
happen
it.
in their life.
Mhm.
Like every day, like you come
Mhm.
home and like you get kind of like the details, like the updates,
Exactly.
and you're always so like informed with like what's going on in their life. You know every little thing. Like this person
Mhm.
texted me this, like, and then it's been kind of weird since not living with you guys, because when I see you guys, we do updates,
I know.
but I feel like there's so much in between that you just don't hear about and you don't
Yeah.
see and you don't know. Like you don't have like all those like moments together. So it's definitely like weird. Like I liked living together a lot. Like, I thought that was so much fun.
I think there's just like you get to know people on such like a not like I don't know how to explain this in a weird way, but like in an intimate level, like you just know them really deeply as a person. Like you guys saw me ugly cry like quite a bit. Like and I don't let a lot of people like see that. Seriously. And like you get to see their day-to-day lives and like who they are like raw as a person. So I definitely think there's a different dynamic. It's not a bad dynamic, but you really get to know people. And so like when we all moved away from each other and you guys graduated and I went to Michigan State and everything, like it just was like I almost like mourned it a little bit. I don't know if you guys felt like that. Like I feel like I grieved like not being with you guys because I ended up living by myself for a whole year at Michigan State due to certain circumstances and how my living situation was working out. And I missed having roommates so bad.
I know like a lot of people, like once they get out of college and you get like an apartment, a lot of people get an apartment by yourself.
Mhm.
And for me, I don't know if I would want. I thought it was just so fun. Like always. And obviously, if you just want to be by yourself, you can, like you have your own room, but like anytime you can just like walk into the living room and there's usually people there, or if not, somebody will be home that night and you just have somebody to like, you basically like your friends are just like built in, like right there. You don't have to like worry, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just always hang out with them.
And I feel like with you and I specifically, Sienna, if someone wasn't there with us, we would never see anybody. Like we would just stay home. You know what I mean? Like if I lived alone, I know I couldn't because I would never go talk to anybody. I would just stay home by myself.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. Like on the weekends when everybody would be gone, I don't know why I wouldn't leave. I remember you guys would come home on Sunday and I'd be like, I literally haven't been outside since like when I got back from class.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't. Like, I don't know why.
That can happen because you guys know I'm a people person. Putting this out there, like I struggle with anxiety and depression, and when I'm not with people, I tend to get into like a depressive episode. And when I lived alone this past year, I really struggled because I just would stay inside. I remember, oh my gosh, you guys, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I'm just going to share it to be completely transparent. I didn't leave the house for 48 hours. No joke, just stayed inside, did not leave, didn't have to leave, had food, had everything I needed to survive, but people are really important.
Another thing is that once you graduate from school, so I went back home when the pandemic started, and it's weird going from being on your own, kind of like I felt very independent when I was living in an apartment with like my friends, like I was going to school, I had all this stuff like kind of going for me, and then you move back home and you graduate and it almost feels like kind of like a step back in a way, like you feel like, and it's so weird because even with my parents and stuff, they're so easygoing. Like I still have like the same amount of independence, like freedom I had, but it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
Like it still feels kind of weird just like being back at home and not having like your own apartment, like your own place. And so for me, like I love hanging out with my family. It's so much fun, but I miss kind of having just like my own place.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it feels, I don't know, weird.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Cause like I think graduating, and me and Sienna graduated at the same time, you know, mid-pandemic, we went home, you know, we're sitting on our couch when we graduate college, and then you're done. And you're like, well, now what? Because I'm back at home, when you really didn't think that you would, like you said, take that step back. So it was a really weird time. And I definitely did miss it a lot. Like felt like it went so fast, like that we were all living together and stuff. So definitely feel like gotta cherish those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
with
for
school.
me, yeah, I'm still back at home. And so it's hard because it's like I don't pay rent and anything. So it's nice. So you can save a lot of money.
Yeah.
But also it is just weird not having your own place. So
One of you guys said that you like really look back and cherish those moments. And it's almost like, I feel like I read this quote somewhere. So whoever said it, I hope I'm not like plagiarizing or whatever. But
We get
I was gonna
sued.
say misquoting.
yeah. But like, I think when you go through those moments in life, you don't realize they're significant until after they're gone. Those are such big moments and they seem small at the time, like seeing each other every day and talking about our day. And I don't remember what we'd call it, but like, what was it? Like our highs and our lows we'd go through of our day. I think that was so important. And now I like ask my friends that I'm with now, or like at home with my parents, I'll ask them that. And I'm like, man, that's what we used to do every day over at Central. And I just miss that about you guys all the time. So they were significant moments, but I didn't realize it until after we all left each other.
I think Andy from The Office said that.
Stop. Was it really?
Breaking news.
Honestly, if he comes to sue us, I think, yeah.
Okay. Is this pop
Okay.
off? You tell us. If he
Do it.
comes to sue us, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? If he comes to sue us, I would just like him to be on the podcast and I would request to have a second, I don't know how to say it, just be back on the podcast with him because I have a lot of questions. But anyways, Madison, what were you saying?
Okay. Andy Bernard, if you're listening.
Andy Bernard, please.
Come on the pod.
What I was gonna say is, so my last semester I didn't live with any of you guys. I just lived with a random person.
Oh my gosh.
Random gal. Found her on the
Oh my
street.
gosh, Madison, I forgot.
I lived
about
with
this.
Cassie's friend. She wasn't random. She was Cassie's friend that I didn't know.
And I ditched Madison because I switched majors and I'm so sorry.
No. You were
I
fine.
forgot I had that apartment.
You
I
gotta do what you
forgot
gotta
it
do.
existed.
There are no hard feelings.
We remember.
Yeah.
It's fine, but I'll never forget it.
It's fine, but I forgot that I signed that lease and actually had another apartment when I was at Michigan State. What?
Because he's paying for 2 apartments at the same time, but beside the point.
Just college things.
Okay, Mads. Yeah, how was that? How did that go?
Well, what I was gonna say is, like, obviously I still hung out with Cheyenne and Sienna, but I didn't realize my other roommate wasn't home very often. I didn't realize how much I would miss having people to come home to that I liked until I didn't have it anymore. And that was really hard for me that year because I was just alone.
Especially like coming from the year off, like before that, like when you have it and then you like kind of lose it, it like stings more because you know how it could be.
Yeah.
And then you're
Yeah.
just like, oh.
It's like I lost the love of my life or
I
something.
know.
We broke up.
I feel like that weird transition right now. Like I just moved to Ohio for an internship for the summer and I'm living in a house in a city in a state. I literally don't know anybody here and it's super weird. And it's like, I've only been here a week, so I'm sure like I'll hang out with my people that I live with right now, but it's a weird feeling starting again. I don't know if you guys have ever felt that every time you move though.
How do you guys but I guess adjust to living with somebody new?
With someone you don't know, just kind of being open, having open communication. I think we all did a really good job of doing that, like being able to kind of sit down and talk about the hard stuff and just being very open with each other. I think sometimes too much. They're too sometimes a bit oversharers, but yeah, I think, being respectful of them and their space and their things and having open communication is the best thing that you can do. And I think we all did that pretty well.
I definitely think Cheyenne's right. Like communication is a really big thing, and just like being respectful of other people, connecting with them, see what they like, what they don't like. It's really just like getting to know people and seeing how they function and realizing people don't function the same way you do. Like people come from different backgrounds and stuff, and that's okay.
I think going back to Cassie's piece of advice, you don't know what you don't know. So like if you don't tell somebody something that they're doing that bothers you, then you can't be mad at them because you never told them that it bothers you. Right. So you have to just tell them. It's probably not that big of a deal.
Going with an open mind, try and be friendly. I don't know. Yeah, just try and get to know them, try and talk to them. See if you guys click. Like if you guys can be friends, great. If not though, like obviously not everybody you live with, you're gonna be best friends, which is fine. But I feel like the most important thing you can do is just like respecting their space and respecting their stuff. That's the main thing when it comes to living with the roommate. Like you have to be respectful of everything that's there. So like that's about it. That's all you gotta do. I don't really know.
In conclusion, I don't know. What are your guys' we already kind of talked about this, like your favorite things, but what are your least favorite parts of having roommates?
I think it's just when you guys don't communicate. When there's no communication. I'm serious. I know, sorry.
She said when you guys.
No. I meant like.
She's like, oh, I've been waiting for this one.
Okay. No, just okay. Did not mean it to come off like that. Anybody I've ever lived with, if you don't communicate with me, it bothers me. I'm a big communicator, but also in return, I need to communicate back to you as well, and not just assume things. I think, okay, putting this out there, Four Agreements, great book. I think all roommates should read this. But don't assume like people are going to do something. Don't make assumptions about people. That's one of the Four Agreements. But I hate when people make assumptions or don't communicate with me, basically. Those are just like my two big things.
Cheyenne?
I didn't get to say my favorite thing.
Okay. Okay. Cassie, I guess, did you have a different favorite thing than what you've already said? Let's just come back around to that. Let's do least favorite first, and then we'll make it better by saying favorite.
Okay. My least favorite thing about having roommates, I guess, would be you're not by yourself. And I know we talked about like we like, being with each other, but I think there are times that you really just want to be by yourself, and it's really hard to come home and have, 3 people or 4, how many ever, just like talking, being loud, like if you just didn't want to talk. And I think you kind of have to use that communication and like tell them, okay, I had a bad day or whatever, and not feeling it, and go up to your room or whatever. But I think we did a good job of leaving each other alone if like our door was shut. We didn't really bother each other that much, but I guess just not having the whole place be your own space, you have to kind of share it. But I didn't really have a huge issue with that, but I guess that would be my least favorite thing.
Yeah, I'd say the same, because honestly sometimes I do like to be alone, but if you're talking to someone, like, it's not that I don't want to talk, but I just like want to be alone. And so I never want to be rude and be like if I went into my room and I felt like I was spending too much time just like in my room, I wouldn't want them to like think I was being rude or like didn't want to talk to them. Mm-hmm. But I feel like for me, it really like I do need to actually like be alone. Yeah. Like even like probably a lot, but it's like when you have roommates, you can do it, but I would worry that like they would take it kind of like the wrong way. Whereas for me, I know like that's just like what I need. Like, so.
Yeah, I think kind of similarly, like being able to kind of separate a little bit, being friends and being roommates. Like if you want to be alone, you're afraid you're going to offend them because they're your friends. And it's going to be like, oh, you don't want to talk to me. Or like, hey, I need you to clean this up or something. And it's like, oh, they're mad at me. They're like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like you might take something kind of personally, but it's more just like, I just need you to like do this because we live together and that's just what I need you to do. But sometimes like it can be taken personally.
Mm-hmm. Favorite things about roommates?
I will get generic with it and then I'll get specific. My favorite thing about living with roommates is obviously their company. I think that's good for me as a person. I'm a big extrovert, so I thrive being with people. I think they can push you to be better in aspects. We have really long late night talks. Getting into specifics, Sienna and I talked about everything and anything under the sun. Madison has laid on the ground and talked about life with me as well. And Cheyenne and I have had some good chats as well. But
we all did the same thing.
In conclusion, good chats, and good chats.
Cassie's like, Cheyenne and I weren't even friends. Cheyenne just met her today.
Okay, so overall, you guys pushed me to be a better person overall, and honestly, just like really gave me guidance on life, and whether that be big or small things, like they mattered because you guys pushed me towards going towards things I was passionate about. And at the time I thought I was passionate about photojournalism. Turns out I was not passionate about photojournalism. It's a good field to go into. No. You guys told me to go do things I love. And I had a moment of like clarity of it took a whole year and a half for me to figure it out. But I was like, oh my gosh, I'm studying the wrong thing. I love agriculture. And I used to be so afraid about saying I love agriculture because we come from a very small farm town and I didn't want to be a cookie cutter like everyone else. And it's not because our town is a bad place, but it's just because I wanted to be different. I wanted to be a different girly, okay? And I didn't want to end up in the same place. And it's not because I don't love that place, but I wanted to feel challenged and go somewhere different. And it's like, Cassie, like you can do that. And you guys told me to pursue what I was passionate about. And that turns out to be cows and agriculture and everything under that. But now I'm doing what I love. So thank you guys for giving me guidance in that aspect.
All right, Cheyenne.
Favorite thing
about me.
What do you love about me? Get into it.
I feel like it's kind of cheesy, but like just having like a little family. Like I feel like we were a little family, and having people to like come home to that we're experiencing the same things as you. Like college can be really lonely, and I think having people there for you, like through literally everything, like to laugh with, like to cry with, like every single day, like I knew like I was gonna be able to come home and like be with you guys, and whatever was like going on in my life, like you guys were gonna be there to support me through it. And so I think that was my favorite thing about you guys, especially just having people there. Like you don't have your family, but you have each other, and like we were always there for each other. I think we always will be. People would say like your friends in college will be your friends like the rest of your life. Like that might not always happen, but like I genuinely think we'll all be friends like forever. And we were lucky that we had that.
Yeah. I think in college, I was like experiencing a lot of things that had nothing to do with college, like with my health and just like other stuff. And I think number one, you guys never made me feel bad about any of that kind of stuff. And it's really easy for people to do that. So I really appreciate that. And you're always like there to help me. And I think also like I probably never met other people that I feel like besides my family, like I can always just be myself. Like I never feel embarrassed in front of you guys. Like I never feel like you try to make me feel weird about things that I like, or like you're just like supportive, you know.
This is a lot to
it's like you guys are fine.
Okay, I guess I'll start with the general, like my favorite things about roommates. Although I do like having alone time when I'm with people, I do tend to like feed off people's energies. So if I were living with someone and they were like probably more quiet and like low energy, I think I would kind of stay in like more of a low energy state too. But I feel like with all of us together, it was always kind of high energy, and I really liked it because it put me in like a good, more upbeat mood. And then I feel like we all were just kind of happy together, maybe. Just a little happy family. Yeah, kind of just the same things that you guys said, like, and just like all the fun we had, like all the memories, like, you know, it was just really great time for me. Because honestly, I feel like we're all kind of different.
Yeah.
Like all four of us, none of us are very, not that we're like not similar, but like in like our personality, we're kind of all pretty different.
We're very different.
And it was fun though, because like you had like,
we're super
but
different.
we meshed well.
Yeah, we gave each other permission to be ourselves, and I think you should give that grace to everybody. But you don't really like get that, I don't think, until you're a roommate. you know, like just like giving people permission to be who they are. Simple but complex.
I don't know what you don't know.
Do you guys have any advice on how to be good roommates?
I think going back to what I said about open communication and having those hard conversations and uncomfortable conversations with someone, allowing them to be themselves and not judging, you know, being respectful of their stuff and their space. But you really just have to get to know them in order to know how to be a good roommate to them. Like they might not like certain things, and just being open to that.
Just cherish your moments when you're in college and with your roommates, because it's super cliche. Everyone says it goes by quick, but it really does. And those people can really like help push your career forward and also change you as a person.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's no like specific advice that like I can give. It's mainly just
Yeah, I agree.
Wow.
Like it's really simple
yet
complex.
And yeah, like that's like really it, I would say.
It's really just about like you don't know what you don't know.
That's really the whole thing.
That's all.
And being open to like knowing what you don't know.
Right.
Because you don't know until
You don't know.
You don't.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
My advice, which we've already said, but like everyone comes to college with a whole life they've already lived, and you have no idea what they've been through. They don't know what you've been through. You don't know what they're going through right now. So just be patient. Like they're just a person. They're just trying to do the same thing as you. And college is weird. It's a weird experience, and it's so stressful for most people. So yeah.
I feel like you guys said all the advice.
You gotta have something up there.
Oh, God. Okay.
Sienna, you're the advice giver.
Yeah, but
dude.
this is
Come on.
hard.
It's like, yeah, that's my role, but on the
You're
spot.
slacking.
On the spot, literally. Like my advice just like comes to me, like, you know, like a dream or something.
Oh my gosh.
That's true. At 3 a.m. We should have recorded this at 3 a.m. It would have been different.
Exactly. No, we record these way too early for me to be like a human yet.
Sorry, not everyone is up in the middle.
Yeah.
of the
If
night.
anybody wants to come on the podcast at middle of the night, we would love. I personally would love.
2:30
I will.
a.m.
It will.
Yeah, let's just scratch this whole thing. Do it later tonight.
That'd be funny.
My advice. Okay, I guess just accept them like as they are. They're probably not gonna be perfect. Like nobody is. Like, but like obviously like, we all do things differently. For example, I'm pretty messy, and luckily, my roommates were pretty understanding that that's one of my flaws. You know, like they kind of had to
I
accept
forgot
that.
about
I
that.
kind of worked to be better, and they
Yeah.
You actually did get better.
You
Mhm,
did.
Like,
You did.
So from freshman year to senior year,
Yeah, you did.
definitely got way better.
mhm. But it's like we all kind of have different things that we may not be great at, and like everybody's just different, so kind of just accepting them for where they are, and kind of you can't expect things to always go like 100% how you want it, because it's not only your space, you're sharing it, so like you always kind of have to compromise too a little. Also kind of talked about like being supportive, being there for them. For some people, like that's who they go home to like every day, and you want to have like a good living space. You don't want it to be uncomfortable for anyone. And just like checking in on your roommates, like because people go through a lot, and like that's usually like who they would turn to is like roommates. Even if you're not super close, you might be like the closest person they could easily have. And so yeah, it's like keeping an eye out for them, and just being respectful.
All right. Well, thanks for being on here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me. This is a one-time exclusive, probably. So, thank you.
This is her debut. One hit wonder.
Yep, one hit wonder and we're out. Peace and love.
Love.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye, guys.
Thanks so much again to Cassie and Shianne for being the guests on our show today. If you have a story you want to personally share on the show or want us to read on air, find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at JustAPersonPod, or send us an email at justapersonpod@gmail.com. And we'll see you next Monday with another new episode.